everybody. So I am your host, Teri Wellbrock of the Healing Place podcast. And I think, am I echoey? No. And this is Ruth Slingo. So I call her thought leader, beautiful soul, financial advisor, so much more. So welcome, Ruth. Let you do a quick introduction of yourself.
Hi, my name is Ruth Slingo, and I am the second oldest of 9 children. My father and mother reside in, I used to live all the time, full time in Virginia, and I'm a mom. I have 4 children. The oldest is 26, my baby is 18, still a baby, and I've 25 years interior designer, and now I have been helping families protect their loved ones. So that's what I kind of do.
Yeah, and you and I are teamed up doing that. I'm a broker as well, and I love that we are teamed up and we're doing this 90-day challenge. It was going to go to the Healing Place podcast page. Right now it's on Teri Wellbrock, but we just wanted to get out there and go live and start this 90-day challenge. Thankfully, this is recorded, so I can pop it on over to the Healing Place podcast page when we are all done. So if anybody has any questions while we go, certainly put them in chat. I'll have to remember to pop over to Facebook and look at that and see. Although is she watching in the background to see if anybody has any comments?
I'm going to just double check and make sure that Linda has access to where we're at today right now. So
Awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
so if she goes to my page, I think she and I are connected on
perfect.
Facebook, so she should be able to get to it.
Perfect.
All right, so our 90-day challenge. So today is a very important date in your life, and our theme for today is you're healthy until the day you're not. So why don't you talk to folks about, one, why this date's so important to you, and two, what we mean by that.
Yeah, so yeah, you're healthy until the day that you're not. So it was back in the middle of 2016. I got a frantic message from my brother to the Facebook, to the family group chat, and it said, his name is Daniel Paul Bennett, and it said, "Hey guys, pray for me. I'm not feeling too well. I went to the doctor." And he actually went to the hospital. And when he went to the hospital, they found, he thought he was just a little bit backed up and his gut was hurting. And he went to the hospital and they found a mass in his colon.
Oh,
He was 36 years old, very, very, very healthy, and strong, vibrant, just an amazing all around person. And you're healthy, and then all of a sudden it can take one diagnosis or one thing. Well, they found a mass in his colon, and he had full-on colon cancer, and they did a resection, and he did some alternative treatments, but February 1st of 2018, he transitioned and went to heaven. And so this is a very important day for us and our family, and it's not all doom and gloom, because ultimately we want to get to heaven. That's how our family believes. But at the end of the day, you can't buy life no matter how much you spend for
yeah,
treatments or whatever. You just can't buy life.
right, right. And it can be a car accident. It can be, we just don't
Anything.
know. Anything can come along at any moment. Like me moving into this house. I had just had a physical in Ohio, and it was like, oh, everything's wonderful. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in my 50s and I have my blood pressure's good. My everything was great. And then within 6 months of moving in here, what is wrong? My labs were chaotic, like my vitamin D levels, my electrolytes, my thyroid, my blood pressure. I mean, everything was just crazy. And what is happening? And came to find out this house had been condemned for toxic mold, and we didn't know. Fortunately, I was able to work with a nutritionist, and everything's perfect and back to normal. But it was just thrown. My body was like, ah, screaming. So yeah, and you just don't know what's going to come along. So All right, so our whole purpose,
Yeah,
go
we
ahead.
we do a great job of doing our best to plan for the expected on a consistent basis. People kind of set themselves up when they think about it, phase one, get a job, go to college. Phase two, start putting away for your retirement, so to speak. Phase three, maybe get married, have children. Stage four, get a little bit of some type of protection in place. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Just depends on your culture or what you think about. And stage five, like, okay, just putting all these things in place and for the expected. And it's the unexpected that catches us off guard. It's that one trip to the doctor. It's that one hospital visit. It's that one thing, one unexpected job accident on the job. It's one diagnosis, one accident, or just something that you just can't expect.
Well, yeah, I mean, and one thing we just talked about last week was, what if you lose your job? What if there's a layoff? And then that, if you have coverage, whether it's health insurance, life insurance, whatever it is, through your employer, what do I do now? Like, how do I take care of myself, my family?
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that we really, you just don't know what you don't know. And there's no, I say this to my clients, there's no mailing list that you can be a part of that says, hey, guess what, Ruth, in a couple of weeks, you're going to have this happen. So we just want to make sure you're ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or, you're going to have to stop everything because a family member needs you. And, that's when you have to kind of figure out what can you do, to prepare for the unexpected. We really can't, but we can do our best to put our best foot forward. And that's why you're healthy until the day you're not. I think that that resonates with me so much because my brother was strong. He was healthy. I mean, he always helped everybody else. He was there for everybody else. His heart was huge. He was always touching people that maybe weren't so popular, so to speak. He was reaching out in private to people that he could see maybe hurting and they were trying to cover it up. And he was that one person that would pour into them. People with addiction, he was like, look, you don't have to be that way. Let's get help together. Let me help you get yourself straight. Let me take you in for a little while and mentor you and be there to support you and sit with you when you're going through trying times. And, his heart was really, really, really to help people. And then all of a sudden you find yourself in a position like you, Teri, where you've helped so many people and you find yourself in a position, holy goodness, I've got to pause. My oxygen mask has to go on. Like, I'm not okay. And it's in those moments, certain things can make it to where we can't get some coverage in place at that moment, where we can't do all the things that we shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. And like my heart was swelling, which happens. I feel like it's almost like I physically feel it, but I know it's like that's just that sensation of your brother. So my heart certainly hugs you, and thank you for sharing his story because I feel like I know him, like he's here or something, and my heart hugs his too in heaven. So yeah, just what a beautiful soul. And I know for me, I call this my soul work, right? And my soul work is doing the podcast, doing these book narrations on books that are focused on healing, um, doing this, helping families and helping bring financial comfort. Really, it's a comfort to know, oh my gosh, okay, like my family's taken care of. My mom, so you know the story of my mom, and many people do. Um, she had this little, I think it was, I don't know, like a $10,000 life insurance policy that she had through an employer that she was able to take with her, which you're normally not allowed to do, but she did. And well, she would talk about it all the time. Now you're going to have that to cover my funeral, and you're going to have that. And it just like brought her again comfort to be like, okay, I'm just going to leave my kids this little bit to take care of things, which was actually really beneficial for flying back and forth from Ohio to South Carolina to spend time with her during her transition. So, but it is comforting for folks. Yeah.
I've talked to quite a few people in my journey here for the last 7 years, helping people protect their loved ones. And this whole started when, for me, this journey with doing this was because I needed a little more time-life balance. Because I did choose to help my family and to be there for my brother and be one of his primary caregivers during the phases where he was going through this special treatment processes and things like that. And I realized when the diagnosis hit him that the things that mattered to me didn't really matter to me anymore. The big house, the fancy this, the cars, like it wasn't really the great job. Like it wasn't really, my focus shifted on the memories and the times that we can be together. And the more that I talk about this to other families, some people are like, well, I want $50,000 or I want 100,000 or I want 1 million, you know? And sometimes it just, be honest, it just doesn't fit the budget. But like you said, Teri, they don't understand that something is always better than nothing. And when a family has to go through the process, guess what? When my brother transitioned to heaven in February 1st, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on 2019, when he transitioned to heaven, it was a beautiful moment. The worship music was playing. We were in the hospital room. We were gathered around his bed. We kind of just saw him transition. We told him everything was fine. It's okay to go. That we knew that he needed to be in a different spot. And when we did that, we realized, um, the funeral home, they're not gonna just say it's okay. We're gonna take care of you. The family that's left behind has to take a minute, and they have to grieve for a period, and grief is long for some people. It's short. Everybody's journey is different. Some people wait 12 months before they even let it sink in that they're having to grieve. But regardless, there's a body, there's a shell there that we want to do something proper for. So the next day you go to work, you have to meet with people. Unfortunately, finances come into play. And so, like you said, having that thing that your mother left behind, she was trying not to burden you guys. She was giving you guys a moment to say, look, the very initial upfront, you're not going to have to totally worry about that. Do you see what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. And I love that. And I love the transit, your brother's transition. My mom's was the same. Like my sister and I were able to be there with her. I played her favorite church songs. We had the priest come in. We're Catholic, and and do last rites. Friends were visiting, and we sang songs from our childhood. And so it was just, and in the end, she died on my birthday, and my sister was hanging a birthday banner over her head, and my sister had just walked in with a little gift for me and a cake, and she hung the word happy, right? And had walked around my mom's bed, and all of a sudden my mom took this last final breath, and a beautiful smile filled her whole face, and then she was gone. And Katie, my sister, dropped the word birthday, so all that was hanging over my mom's head was the word happy. And it was so beautifully poetic. I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Um, and it was so my mom, right? Like happy. And in that smile, and I said, I don't know if she was looking, upon an angel, my dad, Jesus, God, whatever, like she saw something magnificent. And I knew she was being welcomed, and get me a little choked up. Like it was a beautiful transition. Um, so that was one thing that I wanted to say. And two, last night's podcast episode was with a grief therapist, and she said exactly what you just said.
Wow.
Everybody's grief journey is different, right? And some people can be like, I'm good, I can let it go, where others just really, really continue in that spiral staircase of coming around those stages of grief. And actually, this therapist talked about 11 phases of grief.
Ooh.
Um, so beyond the 5 stages of grief. So anyway, all right, let's make a little turn.
Okay.
And let's talk about, I know we want to leave people with a challenge and a gift. So before we continue on, I think as we talk about this, like as we talk about death, right? And grieving, and those are heavy subjects. So it's like, oh, a lot of people don't want to talk about it. Particularly if you have trauma history, if you have a history where maybe somebody passed traumatically. Um, and so we want to make sure you're taking care of your mental health as well, right? I have a practice, it's my all-time favorite. I've talked about it on the show for these past 7.5 years on the Healing Place podcast, mindfulness. And I love nature. I live on beautiful Hilton Head Island and like to go out to nature, put my hand on a tree. Yes, I'm a tree hugger, talk to the little lizards, whatever. But I do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 mindfulness. So I'm going to do a quick screen share for just a sec and see if I can pop this up, see how good I am. Here it is on my drive. And can you see that all right? Is it coming through?
Almost.
Almost
It
there,
says
almost
Teri has
there.
started sharing. Okay. Yes, I see the blank screen.
All right, there we go. Five,
There it
four,
is.
three, two, one, mindfulness. So I am going to put in comments when we're done here. I'm going to put this link to this PDF, but it's going to walk you through and kind of talk through. It's using our senses to, hold on, let me, there. Oh, that's I'll copy the link later. Anyway, using our senses to stop share because otherwise I get distracted. My brain goes, woo. Um, to bring ourselves into the now, right? And it's a grounding technique. And so, uh, but I won't go into all the details. But for me, particularly if I'm out in nature, I love listening to the birds. So I will stretch my ears as far as I can to try to find the bird the farthest away that's singing, right? And so again, what's in the air? Smell. Like the other day, I smelled pine needles and roses, and I was like, I understand the pine needles because I'm surrounded by pine trees. Where are these roses coming from? But there's no roses around. So again, just using those senses to bring yourself into the here and now as a grounding technique. If you start to feel anxiety about heavy subjects, so there you go. All right,
Hmm.
that's my 2 cents for our little gift.
I love it. And you know what? It is a heavy subject, what we've been chatting about this morning, but it's real life. And if you take time to do plan for the unexpected, then you can have a different sense of peace along your journey.
Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. I know from the time I was a little kid, my mom, she was as a kid, we always called her a Jesus freak because we were just like, oh my gosh, mom, you're like always talking about Jesus. Like she had Jesus pictures everywhere. But she always talked about like, I can't wait to get to heaven. I can't wait to die. I can't wait to like she was like, it's not about this life, it's about the next. And so I grew up with that, hearing
Wow.
that. So she had an attitude of, it's a gift to be able to be here, but then work towards being, and so she was like similar to your brother, like she was the
Yes.
one. I She'd say, well, I stopped and picked up somebody on the side of the road, it was raining, and they were trying to carry their groceries, and I'm like, mom, you're gonna get murdered. And she was like, oh, God will watch after me. So
That's
like,
right. That's right. Now, don't try this at home, right, Teri?
right, right. Have I done it? No. I didn't have her faith that I would not die.
Yeah. I love that we're able to celebrate our loved ones. I love that we're able to celebrate their memories and being a special day for our family. I'm watching my family group chat today, and my mom's like, "We're missing, Daniel today. Share a picture." And I was going back through my pictures this morning. Facebook has a way of reminding you of things, whether you really want to be reminded or not. And it was beautiful because I was able to, just remember being there with him. And when I first started my journey with helping families with life insurance, I was taking care of him. And we were in the hospital. He's like, "Ruth, don't you have a conference call to be on?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He's like, "You just like talking to people, don't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I actually do. And then I would have someone come sit with him, and I would go run appointments. This was back in the day when we had to go to people's houses. And he's like, I would call him when I left the person's house, and I was like, "Daniel, you're never going to believe this. I just helped protect another family." He's like, "Sis, I'm so proud of you. You're doing amazing. You got this." And he's like, "I love what you're doing." Because, see, the sad thing is that he didn't have anything in place because he was young and healthy. And so he's an entrepreneur. He had a patent. He had an invention that he had, and he was doing great. And he was always creating, and that left-handed person. He was always creating and inventing. And then he didn't really have. He was young. He was healthy. I can't tell you how many people, Teri, and you probably have too, ran into people that, "Oh yeah, no, I got life insurance through my work. I don't need, I'm not going to pay any extra for that. I'm good. I'm good." Well, think about it like this really quick. I know we're winding down, but think about it like this really quick. You have it through work. That's great. But what do you have that you own in case the work stops doing it, or in case something happens and you can't work? You know, what do you have that you own? And think about it like this. If you're 25 or 35, think about protecting yourself as if you're 65 or 70. Like, you don't know what you don't know. And like we talked about, the mailing list and no crystal ball out there. Like, there's nothing that's going to say, "Hey, hey, hey, you're good. You're going to make it till here. So don't start getting your affairs in order until this point." So just be mindful today of, what do you have put in place for the unexpected, and what can you do to have the peace today? Plan for the unexpected, to have the peace today, to be present for the memories of your loved ones that you're creating today. And be intentional about creating memories, making memories. It's not all about stuff. One of my very best friends, she always does something for her family. It's like a memory moment. It's like at Christmas, instead of all these major gifts, it's like a vacation. It's like a cruise. It's like a travel. It's like something that she can do around her children and her husband to create a memory. And I love that. I'm working on adopting that, but I love that. And that's the thing that can be really, really neat.
Yes,
So be
I love
intentional
that.
today about the people that you have right beside you. My 4 kids, my husband, my mom and dad are still here, Teri. And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't have that. So when I get to travel with my dad, I get to do stuff with my mom. That brings value.
Yes. I hope we can next week or in the coming weeks talk about your most recent travel with your dad, because that
Yeah,
is really, really cool and so awesome. So you have to come back and join us, folks, on the
yeah,
Healing Place podcast page. This is a special treat on the Terry Wellbrock page.
that's
So
right.
special treat today to taunt you and tease you to come over to the Healing Place podcast next week. Um, and oh, I just wanted to say in regard to what you just said about Christmas, because my kids, I have 3 kids, they decided 2 Christmases ago, 3 Christmases ago, they had gone thrifting here. They were all here on Hilton Head Island. We were doing the holidays together. And they found this sweatshirt. I don't even know what the sweatshirt says, but it was just like this oversized, like 2XL big sweatshirt. So they decided that we were all going to play a game, and whichever of the 3 of them won the game won the sweatshirt for the year. And then every year they play a game to see who wins the sweatshirt, and then that person gets to keep it for the year. And so they're hoping that it gets tattered, torn, stinky, gross as the years go by. But like to them, that's a really fun, they're just having fun with it. And I think it's adorable that they came up with it.
That's great. I like that. Watch out. My family's probably going to end up with that too.
I love
Um,
it. I love it. I love it.
and then they
All right.
can sign the back of it. This was mine this
Oh,
year. You know, how
yeah.
great is that?
I'm
2025, I got the shirt, you know?
That is amazing. I'm going to tell them that. I'm going to tell them that today. I'm going to be like, you guys need to like Sharpie on the back.
Yes.
Who got it in 23, 24? Like, yeah. And then just keep it going. Then they can tally it up, 40 years from now to be like, so and so won the most.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. That's so great.
I love
Teri,
it.
I know there's a lot of people that are going to be watching this or have seen this or are live with us now. Um, if someone has a question and they want to know how can they have a little more information, maybe they have stuff in place already to protect for the unexpected, but they just want to know because we're brokers and you're a broker and you have lots of different carriers that you can help people with. Where's a way that they can contact you? And I know you're going to put in the comments, but where's a way that we can get in touch so that if they want to just have a conversation with you, or if they want you to review what they have in place, or if they want to put a little additional extra coverage to protect their family, or maybe they have some grandkids coming up and they want to get them set up for the future, where can we find you?
Of course. Go to my website, teriwellbrock.com. So it's Teri, Wellbrock. And there are different tabs. There's podcasts, books, or speaking, but you can find one that says request a quote. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily request a quote, but you can certainly look through all of the options there, which there are a lot of options, but it's going to give me your contact information, your phone number, your email address, what state you're in, um, which can be any state in the United States. And then down at the bottom, there's going to be like special instructions. You can just write your questions in there if you have any questions, or we can just sit down and have a chat. Um, and then there's also a little thing down there if you want to discuss joining my team and work from home opportunity.
Mhm.
Um, you can click that too. We can have a chat about that. So there you
I
go.
was just going to say everything we do is remote, and the beautiful thing is that there's some people that maybe find themselves like I did when I transitioned, taking care of my brother, and I was helping him. There's some people that may find themselves in a position to where they had to leave their real career or their job, and they have a passion to help other people, and they have a passion to help people find options to protect themselves. Maybe they have been influenced or messed or hurt by somebody not having something in place and had a financial struggle during a transition period of time. So what we do matters, and what we do we can do from anywhere. And I was able to do this as a mom, as a brother, as a sister to my brother, a caregiver. I was able to help protect, my time and create my schedule while I was present when I needed to be present. And this is something that would fit into a lot of people. So if you're looking for something to do, want to make impacts on other people and be able to, be rewarded financially for what you're doing to help others, really be a blessing to them, come alongside them, this is the place. And those people I love too because we get to see them every day. We get to see them a couple times a week whenever they can hop on, if it's full time or part time. And we get to share our wins together and celebrate life and making memories together. So,
Yeah. Oh, I adore you. I'm so glad we met because
yes.
right to my right, and I almost want to go get it, but my vision board. So when I went over to Kelly's the other day, and well, gosh, maybe it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we created
Yeah.
vision boards, and then out you popped, and I was like, Ruth, oh my gosh, you're here! Like I was just so excited to see you in person. So I mean,
Yeah.
such a gift. I know for me, I'm going to leave people with a challenge for next week. And if you want to leave a challenge as well, or we can just do this together. But for me, I want you to do some mindfulness and journal it, keep track of it, write it down. Like at least once a day over these next however many days until we meet again next week. Um, practice mindfulness, and it can be the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It can be, breath mindfulness and just sitting with your breath. It can be, there's all kinds of ways to be mindful. It can be music. Music can help you be very mindful. Like you can use your senses for that. Put on some headphones and listen to just the piano, like just those notes or just the guitar or whatever it is. And like just pour yourself into your senses. So that is your challenge from me.
And then the challenge for me is going to be for the next week until we meet again. The challenge is going to be every single day do one thing for someone that can't do it back for you, anything back for you. So,
Ooh.
for instance, send an unexpected special voice recorded message or a video message to someone maybe you haven't talked to in a while. Maybe find someone that you can get their coffee at Dunkin' Donuts, or, pay something back to somebody. So it's kind of like pay it forward. It's kind of like, but don't do it for someone that will do something back for you. So you've got to get creative, because I promise you that when you do something for someone else that can't do anything to repay you in any form of way, that your cup will be filled just a little bit more.
Yes, it's so true. Oh, I know I could sit in here and talk to you for hours, but I'm going to add to that because um, I was just sharing this story recently. I was meeting a friend who was a professor at the University of Cincinnati when I lived in Ohio. And so I had driven to Clifton, which is where that campus is. And she was running late, and so we were meeting at a Starbucks there. And I went in, grabbed my coffee, and went outside because it was a pretty day, and there was a bench in front of this particular Starbucks. And this is a very busy area. It's a campus, right? And a homeless gentleman was sitting on the bench. And so I sat down next to him, and I said to him, "Can I get you a coffee or something to eat?" And he was like, "Oh, coffee would be wonderful." And I said, "Well, why don't you come in with me and you can pick what flavors you want in your coffee?" And he said, "No, they won't let me in there." He said, "But just a straight up coffee. I was, no sugar, no cream, just a black coffee." And I said, "All right." So I went in, grabbed him a coffee, went back out, gave him his coffee, and just started talking to him, right? Just
Mm.
having a conversation. And it turned out he had gotten injured, things we're talking about, and lost his job as a result. And because he lost his job, he lost his home. His wife left him, and his children stopped talking to him, and he gave up on life. Well, turns out, he got teary eyed. He was in a program, and he was working to get back on his feet again. And he was working with an agency. And he was so excited because he had heard from his son, and he hadn't talked to his son in a long time. And he was teary eyed. I was teary eyed. And so, he never asked for money. He never asked for anything. But when we parted ways, like I said, "Can I give you a hug?" And he was so touched by that. And I just hugged this man because I was like, this is a person who he didn't plan to get hurt. He didn't plan to be homeless and to be, lose his family and his home. But here he was, right? And so, yeah, he couldn't give back to me in any way other than he gave me a hug. So I guess he gave back the best gift of all.
And don't you feel completely, when you walk away, you're like, all the things that you walked in to get that coffee with just don't matter.
Right.
When you sat there, when you were out, it's that anything that you were in yourself trying to figure out, or how you were feeling that day, your whole shift happened,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
just feel good.
Yeah,
You
I
feel
can
good.
still like see his face. Like
Yeah.
he made such an impact on me.
Mhm.
Um, and it was just, I don't know, very beautiful moment in my life, and a memory of joy, really. And so I pray for him, that he was able to find his way back to his family and back
Mhm.
onto his feet. So there you go.
Yeah. Random acts of kindness can fill your cup. But
Yes.
you have to be intentional about it, because if not, the day will completely go. So put it on your to-do list for the day, every day next week. What are you going to do when you wake up in the morning? What is one of the first things you're going to write down is what are you going to do? Are you going to send an unexpected text message to somebody that pops into your mind that you haven't talked to in a long time? Are you just going to say, thinking about you today, I hope your day is amazing? You have no idea that that might be the exact thing that person needs at that moment. So that's my challenge.
Amen. And you know, I have to tell you, so the Healing Place podcast page has gained like 3,000 followers in the last few days. And most of it, I think, was attributed to a post I put out, a simple little meme. It has over 100,000 likes, 35,000 shares. Like it's just gone boom, right? It's gone viral. And
Mm-hmm.
it said something along the lines of exactly what you just said. When someone crosses your mind, just reach out. I mean, it's something along those lines, right? And it's and how many times have I found, I know personally, where I've sent someone a text or call or whatever it is, and they've said, "Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about you." And there's just that soul connection, right? That happens, that heart connection. So I love it. I'm going to leave people with one last thought here. So
Okay.
um, when you go to my website, and we're going to talk about this next week because this is going to have to do with next week's challenge and gift. So I said, "Ooh, I want to give these. I want to gift these to people," and I have these in my drawer. Right? I made these with my own photographs. Like I did it on, I think, a Word doc or whatever, and created these little affirmations for myself. And look at what the first one was. That when it popped up, I am making a difference in the world.
I
Right?
love it. I
I'm not
love
going to
it.
show everybody all of them, but I am love. So I just created, and so these are going to be a little gift for next week, but we're going to talk about like mindsets, right? And mindset shifts. I think it's going to be, I wrote that down for next week's affirmations, which I know you're a fan of,
I love
uh,
it.
and mindset shifts. So that's the teaser for next week.
So they have to like and follow the Healing Place podcast page because if
Yes,
not, they're not going to know when we're going to go live next. So
yes.
stay tuned, stay tuned. But you don't want to miss that. I want one of those. Let's do this.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. Awesome. Well, again, I just adore you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing your beautiful insights, your brother's story. And until next week, have a wonderful week.
Yay! Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Hey, everybody. Teri Wellbrock here. Just wanted to thank you again for being a part of this healing space and my hashtag hope for healing journey. Thank you for sharing, liking, inviting others to join, listening in. You've really helped this show blossom. It has now been downloaded in 136 countries and is in the top 2% globally out of 3.2 million shows, which is just amazing. And it's all because of you and your tuning in and inviting others and sharing and liking and loving. And your reviews on Apple really help too. My goal is to hit 100 5-star reviews by the end of the year. And I am closing in on that. So if you are listening in on Apple or Apple Podcasts, please go and rate the show and leave a review if you absolutely love it. And I would be most appreciative. Also, if you would like to receive my monthly Hope for Healing newsletter, please be sure to go to teriwellbrock.com. It's Teri, just one R, WELLBROCK.com. And I have a gift to send you for signing up for that monthly Hope for Healing newsletter. Plus, there are many other resources listed on that page, including a resource library. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.